This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Wow, where to begin on this day, on this Wednesday? It is hard to overstate how utterly insane and unprecedented this moment in history truly is. Robert Kennedy Jr. has just begun his opening statements in his Senate confirmation hearing. He's Donald Trump's nominee for HHS secretary, and it's going to be absolutely wild what unfolds before us. He's a Kennedy. He's a lifelong Democrat. He's a radical environmentalist. He is pro-abortion. He has been a darling of Democrats and the left and the media for most of his adult life. Now he is public enemy number one to these people. There is just a bizarre coalition in favor of RFK Jr. and a just as bizarre coalition who is against RFK Jr. I'll speak for myself. I couldn't stand this man. I hated this guy. He was as crazy left-wing as you could get. He compared Iowa hog farmers to ISIS. He suggested climate skeptics should be imprisoned. He is against any restrictions on abortion. He spent his life suing companies for environmental causes. He's now Trump's guy, and I couldn't be more supportive. I want to see him confirmed. I want to see him shake up the HHS, a department that desperately needs shaking up. It's safe to say this is a product of the COVID era. Without COVID, there'd be no Republicans supporting RFK. He wouldn't be the nominee. I wouldn't be sitting here cheering for him. But what we saw over the last 4 years is perhaps the biggest scandal in American history. We saw what Anthony Fauci did, what the system did, what the FDA and the NIH did. And that was the problem. This is the solution. I don't care that he has been a lifelong environmentalist wacko. I don't care that he's a pro-abortion fanatic. I want to see him, the great disruptor, perhaps the biggest, best disruptor Trump has nominated, take over the largest health department in the United States, in the world. I want to see him go in there and fire people and expose people and reveal things. We need this. We need this kind of transparency. We need this kind of disruption. This is what it's all about. He's sitting there right now. He's making a statement. Megyn Kelly is sitting behind him with a big smile on her face. And he has real, staunch, passionate support. I don't think these senators, these skeptics, know what they're in for. He is vowing to cure chronic disease among children. He's vowed to eliminate processed foods. He's vowed to go to battle, to go to war with Big Pharma. We saw what Big Pharma was capable of. We saw them, the people who run Big Pharma. We saw Pfizer and Moderna and others, and we saw how much they control our government, our elected representatives. We know many of the people who are trying to stop RFK Jr. are absolutely in the tank for Big Pharma. He's made that clear. He made that clear when he ran for president. He tried to run as a Democrat because he is a Democrat. They wouldn't allow it, wouldn't allow him on the ballot, wouldn't allow this man to challenge their dementia-riddled incumbent. What did he do? He said, screw you. He joined Team Trump, and here we go. And this is the result. You wanted him out, Democrats? Well, he's out, and now he's a Republican, essentially. He's a Republican nominee for a cabinet position, and I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know this is going to be wild. He's going to be attacked from both sides, and he's going to be supported from both sides. This is the craziest Senate confirmation hearing It's just now beginning that we have ever seen. There's been nothing like it. You're going to have Democrats, staunch Democrats, attacking with fury a Kennedy, a Democrat, a liberal, a lifelong liberal, and they're going to go at him and try to destroy him because they're doing the bidding of their masters in Big Pharma. The media is going to come at him with guns blazing because he's going to shake up the establishment. And as we know, the job of the mainstream media is to protect the establishment, the Washington establishment, the deep state. And there's no one who threatens the deep state, not Pete Hegseth, not Kash Patel or Pam Bondi. No one threatens the establishment like RFK. He has no more F's to give. He's going to go in there and he's just going to shake it up like no one we've ever seen before. And here's the problem they have. He has a lot of issues, a lot of skeletons in his closet. Hell, they're not in his closet. They're out there for all the world to see. We know he's been married 3 times. We know his second wife killed herself after he cheated on her prolifically for years. We know he was a heroin addict. He was arrested and convicted for heroin possession. We know he was a cocaine dealer in college. Is that all going to come up? Probably. We saw what they did to Hegseth. Nothing is off the table. We know he's had far left views for most of his life. That's certainly going to come up. There's going to be Republicans, establishment Republicans, who are going to attack him for his views that he's held, that he's espoused for decades. It's going to be bizarre and wild and crazy, and you just have to root for him. You just have to root for a guy who is willing to go in there, just give it all up to expose people like Fauci, like the others in NIH and the FDA, to show us what big ag and big pharma have done to the American people for years. There's a lot of mamas out there, a lot of mama bears who are ready to defend him, to support him, to fight for him, to go to the mat for him. It's going to be intense. And here's the problem. The skeptics, the cynics, the no voters, the establishment has. He's really smart. He's really articulate. Obviously, his voice is not good. He's got a problem. But he has been here. He's been fighting fights his whole life. He's a lawyer. He's a spokesman. He's a guy who goes into he'll go on TV shows in hostile environments and just take people on. It's what he does. There's not going to be a lot of gotcha questions because he's already been there. They've already tried to get him for years. So he's not going to be knocked off his game. He's ready for this. And I assume they're ready. They have big staffs. They're going to be ready with the tough questions. But he's heard them all before. He's answered them all before, which is why I think he's going to do well. Again, the voice is terrible. I'm the last guy who's going to criticize. I'm not like his family members. I'm not going to mock him for his affliction. But he is going to push back. He's going to fight because that's what he does. It's going to be wild. It's on. It just began. Maybe we'll turn around some of this sound quickly and get you some of his answers, some of the fireworks. It's going to be confrontational and hostile and intense, and it's going to be close. He needs 50, just like Hegseth. He needs 50. He's probably already lost the squishy Republicans, the Susan Collins and Mitch McConnells, but they're going to be Democrats like John Fetterman, maybe Bernie Sanders, who are going to like what he has to say about taking on big pharma and big ag and all the drug companies and all the establishment hacks who've been entrenched in the Health and Human Services Department for years. And by the way, you're going to have people who voted for Rachel Levine to confirm Rachel Levine trying to portray this man as a lunatic. Good luck with that. It just gets crazier and wilder every day. This is just the wildest time to be watching this whole thing unfold, history unfold before our eyes. Yesterday, we got to get to Carolyn Levitt, because I'm telling you, I just wake up every day and say, this day is going to be better than the last. It just gets better every day. Trump is on a roll. America is on a roll. America is back. That's a cliche, but it is so true. What we're seeing is what we've been begging for years. We've been begging for people to just call out the fraud, the waste, the abuse, the insanity in our federal government in previous administrations. And here it is. And the greatest upgrade I think we've ever seen. Again, I ask the question all the time, what's the worst diversity hire made by the last administration? Obviously, Kamala Harris is the favorite. But as we mentioned every day, KJP, Corinne Jean-Pierre, the history-making Black lesbian spokesman, we were all supposed to celebrate her immutable characteristics. Like that matters. These DEI hires did more damage to DEI than anyone. I mean, it was just on display every day for us to see, to watch this spokesperson who was just not equipped to do the job, just not capable of doing the job, not smart enough, not quick enough on her feet, not well read enough. She just wasn't prepared. She was terrible at the job. It was a tough job because she was charged with lying every day for the Biden administration, covering up for the crimes of the Biden administration. It was a difficult job, but she was really, really bad at it. And I will admit, I was skeptical. As you know, I was rooting for Scott Jennings, Carrie Lake, Tucker Carlson. I had my list of people I were hoping might become the spokesperson for Donald Trump. There were some good ones because we knew one thing. They had to be fighters. They had to be well prepared, and they had to be ready to do battle with the enemies of the people in the mainstream media. Donald Trump selected Carolyn Levitt, who is 27 years old, didn't have a lot of experience, just a kid. And I said, ooh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure she's ready for this job. She ran for Congress in New Hampshire. She lost. She obviously didn't have a lot of experience because she's so young. Well, I'm sorry, Carolyn Levitt. This is a spectacular choice. She debuted yesterday, gave her first press briefing to a jam-packed press room. It was jam-packed because they're letting people in that they used to let in, podcasters and social media influencers. Her first questions went to Breitbart and Axios, gave them a special seat, and said, we're going to call on some different people. This is not going to be controlled by the legacy media. Then she put up pictures of some of the people that the Trump team, that Tom Homan is kicking out of the country, some of the hardened criminals that the media and Hollywood are weeping over. It was a brilliant move. And then she just went to work. Didn't have a binder, rarely looked down at her notes, just took on the media and crushed them. It was a great performance. 2 thumbs up, Carolyn Levitt. I am looking forward to 4 years of this young woman taking on the media and just speaking for the Trump administration. I was amazed at how they couldn't rattle her. She's, again, 27. And I got to, before we get to the highlights, I got to admit, I was so enamored of her. I was feeling a little creepy because she's just a kid. She's 27, same age as my son. And then I looked it up. I don't feel so bad. Her husband's my age, almost. Her husband is 59 years old. So she likes old, wrinkly MAGA guys. So I don't feel so bad. That is a little weird.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That is a little weird. I wonder how mom and dad think of that her husband is 32 years older than her. Doesn't hold her back, though. I mean, that's a little weird, but other than that, man, she was on the ball, ready to go, and just crushed it. We got some of the highlights. There were 3 or 4 mic drop moments, 3 or 4 moments where I said, that's it. You just killed him. Walk off. It was 49 minutes long, and she called on everyone she called on. She knew their names. She didn't need note cards and little pictures like KJP. And she didn't say didn't often say, well, I really don't know. I'll have to get back to you. She just took it and gave it right back to them. And it was great. It was, I mean, honestly, I know I say this every day, the best Trump choice, obviously J.D. Vance, spectacular choice. Tom Homan, guy is just perfect. But she is right up there. This was a little risky, picking someone this young and inexperienced, but I can't tell you how well she did yesterday. Here are some of the highlights. She was asked about the price of eggs. Of course, she was asked about the price of eggs because that's all they got. They got two things. Democrats and the media have two things right now if you're not paying attention. One, Nazis. They're Nazis. Two, when is he going to lower the price of eggs? It is so absurd. They are so lost right now, Democrats. They are just lost. I don't know who told them to go with this. Was it Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi? Who told them the price of eggs 8 days into the new administration was a smart strategy? It is just so silly and childish. First of all, he's been there a week. Secondly, we know why eggs cost so much. It's Democrat policies. It's Joe Biden. It's deficit spending that caused inflation. It's the Democrat environmentalist mandates to only have cage-free birds. There's all kinds of reasons eggs cost a lot, and none of them are the fault of Donald Trump, but they don't care. They think this will work on dumb people in their base. We'll talk about the price of eggs, and she just slapped them down. It was great. Here you go.
Christian Day Talk.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration in the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage.
There was not one moment in the last 3 years that Karine Jean-Pierre could have given an answer like that without notes, without a script, without lying. That was perfect. And again, I was sitting there going, walk off right now. Just walk away. You're not going to do any better than that. But she did. What else we got? We got her on when she was asked. By the way, half the questions were about Trump's executive order to stop wasteful spending, to put a freeze on spending. And obviously it was directed at a number of things, the NGOs, the DEI, to stop wasting taxpayer money on these ridiculous programs. It is long overdue. We were hoping Trump would do this. He did this. But the media doesn't care about the truth. The Democrats don't care. They immediately started asking about, oh, poor hungry children and Meals on Wheels. Seniors will starve. And it just didn't work. It's not working anymore. You might have been able to cow George Bush on this, but you're not going to do it with Trump. We're not going there anymore. We don't believe you. You are liars. You are frauds. We want this. Stop spending. It was beautiful. And they just kept asking her, what about people on Medicare? And she'd say, they're not affected. What about people on welfare? Oh, not affected. We're going to stop wasteful foreign aid. We're going to stop spending on these silly social programs, DEI and transgender madness. And she kept pointing this out, and they just kept going back to that. I was watching, flipping around immediately when it was over. First thing they did on CNN was bring on some head of a nonprofit to say they've decimated the Meals on Wheels program. Seniors are starving. And I'm thinking, you just can keep going with that, run with that, you fools. What Trump did was, we're going to get to all the things Trump did yesterday. Every day is just a barrage of great, long overdue, welcome, refreshing orders. But they kept going with Carolyn. Do we have her? I want to save the Gaza one. Let's get to the question, which he's asked about lying. Will you lie to us? These are people that just sat in front of KJP for 3 years and Jen Psaki for a year and a half or whatever it was, when they lied to their faces every day, and they ran with it, and they just continued, lied about the condition of the president. Didn't matter then, but it matters now. Are you going to lie to us, Caroline? Watch this.
Miller.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as advocating on behalf of the president, or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline,
Yeah. Once again, mic drop moment. No notes, no reading, just calling out these liars. I look forward to that too, because she's going to have to deal with that. She dealt with it yesterday, them lying about everything, about the cuts in spending, and about the price of eggs, and about migrants. That was their other big issue. Migrants. You're really going to kick out migrants? What about the children? Once again, she's right. These are wildly popular with the American people. Mass deportations is wildly popular. People around the country are standing and applauding what Tom Homan and his people are doing. The media hates it, as we know. They're in search of those weeping abuelas. And on day, whatever it is, day 8, they were fixated on people who were just here trying to make a better life for themselves. Are we really going to kick them out? I know, you're focused on murderers and drug dealers, but what about those poor folks who are cleaning my toilets? Are we going to kick them out too? Here she is dealing with their framing of the deportation issue. Go ahead.
Caroline, on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You may have done one of the worst first. They all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the briefing.
If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminal. Yes.
Thank you. On stripping.
That is so good. And then you had Peter Alexander, this hack, say, it's just a civil violation, just flat out lying. They're asking her about lying, and they're lying. Crossing the border illegally is not a civil violation, but they're all in on protecting illegal aliens, on stopping deportations. That's their job right now, to protect violent criminals who broke our laws and came here illegally. But I have to say, the finest moment, it wasn't, again, we're talking about stopping wasteful spending, fraud, and abuse. I think American taxpayers have had enough of just sending billions overseas for these wasteful programs. We hear it all the time. Rand Paul does a whole list every year of these, transgender dance troupe in Pakistan get $42 million, and of some Ecuadorian environmentalist climate change group gets 62 million. It's all going to end. That's what they're doing today. And that is there's no American, no honest taxpayer who wants their money going overseas to these wasteful, ridiculous programs. And boy, she crushed it on this one. Go ahead.
DOJ and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money.
Condoms in Gaza. That's your takeaway. She should have walked off the stage right there. Condoms in Gaza, $50 million. There's 2 million people in Gaza. By the way, why do people who are being genocided need condoms? And a number of people have pointed out they make bombs out of the condoms. They're like in Saving Private Ryan. They make sticky bombs out of condoms. And we're sending taxpayer money. We're paying for this nonsense. I hope they do this every day. Point out how Joe Biden, how the Democrats have spent your money, my money. That was a great rant. 50 million for condoms in Gaza. Oh, good luck to Peter Alexander and the rest of these mainstream media hacks defending that. And good job, Caroline Levitt. Pride of Atkinson, New Hampshire, and Central Catholic High School in St. Anselm's. She didn't go to Harvard. She didn't work for Kinsey. She's not some Nippo baby. She earned this at the age of 27. And I can't tell you how well she did. If you missed it, watch the whole press conference. Oh, hell, wait till the next one, because she's going to keep this up. She is relentless. She is prepared, and she was great. Speaking of prepared, we got to get to more on the RFK hearings, which are going on right now. These are going to be good. And he's got one of his family members who went all in attacking him. Yes, a Kennedy who's attacking him for being a predator. Yes. Oh, no, a Kennedy man's a predator, and a Kennedy woman is calling him out. How rich is that? And the best executive order yet from Donald Trump. We got to get to that. He's going to end the transgender madness once and for all. And this is just perfect. We'll tell you about that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
ring in the new year with new rewards at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Right now, new players can play just $5 and get 250 casino spins on a featured game with promo code Newsmax. That's 250 chances to win on us after you play just $5 or more. Don't wait. The best rewards and the brightest moments are waiting at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Whether you're spinning slots, doubling down on blackjack, playing roulette, or any of our exclusive games you can't find anywhere else, make any moment golden with Golden Nugget Online Casino this year.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for Jinshi, Baoshi, Endless Treasures only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at goldennuggetcasino.com/promos. Ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 23rd, 2025.
There's been a lot of great executive orders from Trump. We'll get to RFK. I want to hear what else he has to say. He's ready. He looks so comfortable right now. He looks comfortable. He knows the material. That's the problem.
We got a couple clips when you want them.
Okay, good. I got to move here. We got so much to get to. Can you ask Newsmax if we could do like 6 hours today? I feel like we should. But this is so good. This is so great. Trump, all these executive orders are great. And you know why? Because they all make common sense. They're all just normal. This is what we're seeing in America in the last 8-9 days. A return to normal. The normies are winning every day. The lunatics are no longer running the asylum. And there's no better example than that, than yesterday's executive order. Donald Trump is taking steps to ban child mutilation, to ban sex change surgeries for children, to ban treatment for confused children. This insanity has gone on for years. It is supported by a small minority of Americans who who can tell children that they were born in the wrong body. This is absolute madness. We know it. Everybody in their hearts knows it, but they've pushed this insanity, and it's coming to an end, finally and at last. I should remind everyone that 5 years ago, you could lose your job if you called this crazy. That's what I did. I said there was a family outside of Boston, and they had a 4-year-old boy, and they turned him into a girl, and the Boston Globe celebrated it, and the trans activists thought it was wonderful, and we on the radio called it crazy. We said these people are cruel and not fit to be parents. If they do that to a 4-year-old child, well, I think I was ahead of the curve on that one. That cost me my job. The trans activists went crazy. They pressured the company. The company got rid of me and everyone else on a very successful morning show. I was ahead of my time on that one. 3 years ago, if you said it's crazy to transition a child, you would get kicked off social media. If you said Rachel Levine was a man, which is what the Babylon Bee did, you were out. You were off Twitter, Facebook. Man, has the tide turned here. Most of the country is waking up. Children, they can't get tattoos. They can't drink. They can't join the army. They can't make these life-altering decisions. But according to Democrats, according to the Biden administration, a child can decide he's in the wrong body and permanently, surgically change his body, sterilize himself. Yeah, he can make that decision all on his own. Every decent person knows this is insane. It's cruel. It's barbaric. Well, this is the president of the United States yesterday issuing this Truth Social post and executive order. Today, he says, it was my great honor to sign an executive order banning chemical castration and medical mutilation of innocent children in the United States. Our nation will no longer fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support so-called gender-affirming care, which has already ruined far too many precious lives. My order directs agencies to use available means to cut off federal financial participation in institutions which seek to provide these barbaric medical procedures that should have never been allowed to take place. That is perfect. That is wonderful. This is long overdue. People are waking up. This is an industry. These are alleged medical professionals who are ruining the lives of confused young children. And we have to applaud. There's many people have been fighting this fight for the last 5 years or so. Chloe Cole and Riley Gaines and Matt Walsh and Libs of TikTok. Well, they're winning. And you, Rachel Levine, Joe Biden, come on, you're Democrats, you are losing. It was only a couple of years ago. We had crazy trans activists flashing their fake boobs on the South Lawn at the White House. People who have been permanently, surgically altered, standing there and showing off their scars. We had a president who in every speech would say, would speak to transgender children and say, we have your back. There's no such thing as a transgender child. There's confused kids who had this poison injected into their brains thinking, oh no, I'm in the wrong body. I need to go under the knife. I need to be a permanent medical patient on medication. And sir, it's just absolute insanity. And our president is bringing an end to it. We need Congress to act now and ban it nationwide. I believe 29 states have already done it. Every state must do it. Every honest person knows this is just insane. What we've done to children in this country. It's the greatest medical scandal of our time. Billboard Chris, another one, friend of ours, has fought this fight and won this fight. It's not over, but man, they are losing, and it is a glorious thing to see. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Donald Trump. I wonder where all the trans activists who came after us, how they're doing today, knowing that they have lost this fight, that you have lost this fight. You can pretend your daughter is a son. Go ahead, go nuts. But you can't chop off healthy body parts permanently. Just think of what they advocate. You have a confused young boy. You convince him that because he, whatever, plays with dolls or likes theater, that he's a girl. And then you send him to a doctor who an hour later says, yeah, he needs surgery. And then you sterilize him. And he never gets to have children, never gets to have sex. Oh, he'll be all better. He's depressed. He's confused. But once we cut off his private parts or drug him, he'll be okay. Have we ever stopped to think how utterly insane that is? How illogical that is? Well, I think we are now. I think the country is waking up to this. And thank God in heaven, we have a man in the White House who's willing to go to bat and take on this tiny minority whose power is just out of control. No more trans activists on the South Lawn. No more men who pretend to be women running the HHS. The biggest upgrade, and we've already gone over that, from Lloyd Austin to Pete Hegseth, from KJP to Carolyn Levitt, from Kamala Harris to JD Vance. There's just been these amazing upgrades in real time every day. Look at this. Look at how much better we're doing now. And now we have RFK before the Senate as we speak. You can hate him if you want. He's smart as hell. He's sincere. He wants to expose the corruption in our health services, in Big Pharma. He's ready to go to war with these people. At the age of 70, he's tireless. We have gone from Rachel Levine, this mentally ill old man who didn't decide he was a woman until his mid-50s. And then he said he wanted to surgically castrate boys, even though he already had kids. He'd already lived his life. He didn't want that for himself. No, he loves his kids, but he wants to make sure your confused boy doesn't grow up to have a family. No, that guy's gone, and this guy hopefully is in. What do we got from RFK?
I have part of his opening statement and one of the exchanges so far.
Oh, good. Let's listen to part of RFK's opening statement this morning in front of the Senate Finance Committee. Go ahead.
The health problems in this country that we must face honestly. And the first thing I've done every morning for the past 20 years is to get on my knees and pray to God that he would put me in a position to end the chronic disease epidemic and to help America's children. That's why I'm so grateful to President Trump for the opportunity to sit before you today and seek your support and partnership in this endeavor.
Good for him. It's going to get good. He's ready. He's ready. But the forces of evil, they're out there. Did he have an exchange here with a good Democrat who's going to stand for the Big Pharma? What you have to do every time you see one of these Democrats or Republicans attack him is look it up. See how much money they got from Big Pharma. See how bought and paid for, how owned they are of Big Pharma. We know a number of the people. We know Liz Warren is bought and paid for by Big Pharma. She's going to go hard at this Kennedy man. But what do we got here?
This is him calling him out for being dishonest.
All right, let's go.
All of these things cannot be true. So, are you lying to Congress today when you say you are pro-vaccine? Or did you lie on all those podcasts? We have all of this on tape, by the way.
Yeah, Senator, as you know, because it's been repeatedly debunked, that statement that I made on the Lex Friedman podcast was a fragment of the statement. He asked me, and anybody who actually goes and looks at that podcast and will see this. He asked me, are there vaccines that are safe and effective? And I said to him, some of the live virus vaccines are. And I said, there are no vaccines that are safe and effective. And I was going to continue for every person. Every medicine has people who are sensitive to them, including vaccines.
Right. So
he interrupted me at that point. I've corrected it many times, including on national TV. You know about this, Senator Wyden. So bringing this up right now is dishonest.
It's just going to go on like this. Everyone, they're all going to go after him on vaccines, and he's ready for it. That's the problem. He's ready for it. And you know what? 5 years ago, he'd just get blown out of the water. But we just lived through this vaccine mandates. We lived through this corrupt little evil elf, Anthony Fauci, who told us, he told healthy young kids they need the vaccine, babies, they need the vaccine because it would stop the transmission. And we know why he did it. He was doing the bidding of Pfizer. That's why he told you not to use therapeutics. He told you hydroxychloroquine was dangerous. That's a lie. He told you ivermectin was horse paste. That's a lie. He lied over and over again, and he was exposed. By whom? By RFK Jr. Once again, if you want to learn why RFK is now the nominee, read The Real Anthony Fauci, the book by Robert Kennedy Jr. It will blow your mind. I beg you, read it. It is so well done, so well researched. The man is smart as hell, and he exposes this corrupt little tyrant. Like you can't even imagine just how evil Fauci is until you read this, just how corrupt the whole system is till you read that. None of these idiots on the Senate committee have read it. Most of them haven't. But if you do, if you have time, read it, buy it. It is just an amazing work. And it exposes not just Fauci, but the whole damn system. But they're going to come out and they're going to come after him. And it's great to watch Democrats, lifelong Democrats, just attacking a Kennedy, not because of his positions on vaccines or on chronic disease, but as a man. Here is his cousin, Caroline Kennedy Schlossberg, the only living child of JFK, his cousin. And she's coming after him. She's trying to stop him. This family is just such trash. I mean, this is the last Kennedy who's actually out there, accomplishing something, actually trying to improve people's lives, protect vulnerable people, and they hate him for it. He stepped out of line. He turned his back on the Democrat Party, and they despise him for it. Listen to this just unctuous old lady attacking her family member for being, yes, a predator. Yes, a Kennedy woman attacking a Kennedy man for being a predator. Go ahead.
But now that Bobby has been nominated by President Trump to be Secretary of Health and Human Services, a position that would put him in charge of the health of the American people, I feel an obligation to speak out. Overseeing the FDA, the NIH, the CDC, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, agencies that are charged with protecting the most vulnerable among us, is an enormous responsibility and one that Bobby is unqualified to fill. He lacks any relevant government, financial, management, or medical experience. His views on vaccines are dangerous and willfully misinformed. These facts alone should be disqualifying. But he has personal qualities related to this job, which for me pose even greater concern. I've known Bobby my whole life. We grew up together. It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator.
Oh, just what a vile old woman. Bobby is a predator. Yes, he's been divorced a few times. He's confessed that he was a womanizer. You know what her father did? Her father, JFK, her father was a womanizer. We know that. There was a woman, her name's Mimi Alford. I believe she's still alive. She was an intern at the White House. She was 19 years old. Her first day on the job, JFK took her for a tour of the White House, took her into his wife, Jackie O's bedroom, and forced himself on her. She lost her virginity that day. She was a child, 19. And then he shared her with his friends. That's what her father did. Did she ever speak out and say, yeah, my father did some good things, but he was a predator? Because that's what he was. I don't remember her speaking out against Teddy, her uncle. She loved Teddy. She couldn't praise him enough. Teddy killed a woman, Mary Jo Kopechne. Teddy was a legendary womanizer, and predator. They all were. That was a thing in the Kennedy family. Hell, Joe Kennedy, her grandfather, legendary for forcing himself on young women that his sons were dating, their friends. That was her grandfather, the scion of this disgusting trash family. They're now going to stop the last Kennedy who's actually trying to accomplish something. What despicable, disgusting people. And then her son did a video mocking RFK Jr.'s voice ahead of the hearings. Yeah, that's the kind of people they are. These are just trash people, little rich, inbred brats. And they're upset that their family members actually trying to accomplish something, to help people, to get to stop chronic disease, to make our food healthier. Well, good luck to them. If he gets confirmed, I want to hear from that hag again, because that is just disgusting. Forget the fact that this is her family member. She's trying to undermine him because she's, again, big fan of Big Pharma, big fan of the deep state and the establishment. That's what she is. All right, we got much more to get to, and we just don't have time to get to. We got to get to this Jake Tapper with Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's another great choice. Another just spectacular fighter for the Trump team. He takes on Jake Tapper, and it didn't go well for Jake. And we have a Democrat strategist on CNN explaining why this mass deportation is such a bad thing. Doesn't anyone think of the blueberries? What about the blueberries? We'll get to that, but first.
Excuse me.
So how are the New Year's resolutions coming? We all make them, Some of us stick with them. Some of us don't. You want to lose weight, get in shape, get your finances in order. I promise to read more books. I'm trying. Each new year is an opportunity to reflect and plan for the future, like setting career goals, making financial moves, and most importantly, ensuring your family is always taken care of no matter what happens. Make this the year you check the life insurance box off your list and protect your family's future with Policy Genius. Policy Genius makes finding and buying life insurance simple, so you can ensure your loved ones have a financial safety net to cover debts and routine expenses, or even to invest the money to earn interest over time. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Do you know 40% of people wish they got life insurance at a younger age? Compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free with no hidden fees. The licensed support team helps you get what you need fast so you can get on with your life. They answer questions, handle paperwork, and advocate for you throughout the process. Life insurance is a form of financial planning. Secure your family's future tomorrow so you have peace of mind today. Head to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Tom Homan's out there again doing God's work with his ICE guys, rounding up killers and drug dealers and ISIS-connected people, and most of the country's standing and applauding. This is something they're as Carolyn Levitt said, they're righting the wrongs. They're fixing the problems which were created by the last lawless administration, and it seems to be going quite well. The numbers for yesterday, almost 1,200 criminals were rounded up for deportation. As Homeland said, without apology, those numbers have got to go up. They got to pick up the pace. There's a lot of bad guys. There's more than 1.5 million who've already been ordered deported, and they're trying to find them, and they're doing their best. So we applaud them, and we will continue to follow as they try to get the bad guys out of your community, out of your neighborhood. They did it in New York yesterday. They got the Tren de Aragua leader. They found him in the Bronx, and the neighbors were cheering. The other people living in the Bronx, they're the ones who Tom Homan's trying to protect, and they appreciate it. Well, the Democrats are going to fight it. They're going to say, they aren't criminals. They just came into the country illegally. They just broke federal law. They're not criminals. And they're going to ask, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going Who's going to clean my bathroom? Who's going to do all those dirty jobs that the illegal aliens did? And I got it. I didn't have to pay him a lot. It was good. It was wonderful. Get Jake Tapper first with Stephen Miller, because Stephen Miller is so good at this. He knows the material like no one else. And these media clowns are just no match for him. And Jake Tapper wants you to know, wants you to believe the agriculture industry will just be devastated when we round up all these killers and rapists and remove them from our country. And Stephen Miller just puts him in his place. Go ahead.
Jobs many Americans do not want to do. So how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden flights. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 legal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want to this.
We don't have
you and your
minutes.
audience.
I don't have I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you can come back and we can talk about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They're in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws. And as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
Oh, that is so perfect. They're going to stick with this, though, that, if you deport illegal alien gangbangers, who's going to pick our crops? He just set you straight, Jake Tapper. He made you look like a fool. 1% of illegal aliens are doing farm work. Most of them are in the cities collecting welfare. That's a fact. Stephen Miller knows this, and Jake Tapper doesn't care. Oh, you're changing the subject, he says. No, he's not. He's actually schooling you. And you know what Jake Tapper will do today? He'll say, they're kicking out the people who are picking our lettuce. He knows it's a lie, but they don't care. That's what they got. That's what they're left with, lying and complaining because they won't have blueberries for their smoothies. To quote the great man, J.D. Vance, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself, Jake Tapper? Who's going to do the farm work? We need illegal alien criminals to work for slave wages. That's what they're upset about. Once again, Republicans are taking away their slave labor, and they just can't handle it. This is a real segment on CNN, the great Scott Jennings, attempting to debate a Democrat strategist about illegal aliens. And this is hard to believe she said this on the air, but listen to her argument in favor of keeping illegal alien criminals in the country. Go ahead.
That if you are trying to actively hire illegal immigrants, if you think that's best, if you are trying to game the system, if you are trying to help someone break U.S. federal immigration law, I think if we're going to have a true crackdown on illegal immigration in this country, it has to involve everybody who's participating in it. And I think you've raised a good point with this topic. And so employers and anyone else who's part of this pipeline, I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rules.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
Picking strawberries. I mean, like,
these building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait.
Stop it right there. That's a Democrat strategist on a Democrat network, CNN, dying, of course, but what's her name? Jenna Arnold. And she says, I can't wait till women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. Do you think Lake and Riley's mother is concerned about that? Do you think the hundreds of thousands of mothers who've lost children to fentanyl, do you think they're concerned? Do you think the family of the woman who was set on fire in the New York subway by an illegal alien, do you think she's saying, man, these blueberries, the cost just I can't get blueberries for my smoothie. You run with that, Democrats. You run with it. You just keep going with that. But what about the eggs and the blueberries as we remove rapists and murderers from this country? All right. Speaking of murderers, before we go, another local man is in trouble. A Massachusetts man was arrested yesterday in the Capitol. Didn't get a lot of play because he wasn't trying to kill a Democrat. He was in the Capitol. Did you hear about this? With intent to murder Republicans. His name is Ryan Michael English, 24, of South Deerfield, Massachusetts. He was found with knives and Molotov cocktails outside the U.S. Capitol. He said he told police he wanted to kill Scott Bessent, just confirmed as the Secretary of Treasury, and other members of the Trump administration, including Pete Hegseth and House Speaker Mike Johnson. So he went to the Capitol with Molotov cocktails to kill Republicans. Didn't hear a lot about that. He also referred to Hegseth and Johnson as Nazis. Where did he get that idea? And Democrats, the media, they're upset that Trump is pulling the taxpayer-funded security from Mark Milley. It's another great thing they did yesterday. No more limo rides on the taxpayers for Mark Milley. This follows them taking the taxpayer-funded protection away from Fauci, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton. Why should the taxpayers be on the hook for protecting these private citizens who are fabulously wealthy? We were paying $20,000 a day for Anthony Fauci's security, which included, of course, a driver and a limo, a Suburban. Why should we? This guy is worth millions. Pay for it yourself, Fauci. Pay for it yourself, Mark Milley, you bloated fraud. By the way, he might get court-martialed. God, that would be a great day. That will be a wonderful day. He lost security clearance and his limo driver yesterday. Another great move by the Trump administration. And it just keeps going. We're just rolling right now. I can't wait for tomorrow because I know it'll be another great day in America. But that will do it for today. We will be watching the RFK Jr. hearing, and we'll have all of the highlights of it for you tomorrow. But that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many. Thank you.